There is a weird period after college where everyone pretends the friend group is going to stay the same. Nobody says it directly because saying it would make it obvious how impossible it is. But everyone acts like it. You graduate. People move to different apartments, different cities, different jobs. Someone starts working nights. Someone gets serious with a partner. Someone suddenly becomes the kind of person who says things like, "I have an early meeting," and means it. Still, everyone keeps sending memes in the same group chat. Everyone says, "We need to hang out soon." Everyone promises nothing is going to change. And you believe it because the alternative is admitting that the people who felt like your entire world for 4 years might slowly become people you only see through birthday posts. That was where I was when this happened. I was 23, 1 year out of college, and still trying to hold onto the version of my life where my friends were my default setting. In college, our group had been everything. There were 9 of us at the center, though the edges changed depending on who was dating who had roommates visiting, and who was currently fighting with someone over something stupid. We met through dorms, classes, campus jobs, parties, and one disastrous intramural volleyball team that lost every game but somehow created 3 friendships and 1 relationship. Mine. Her name was Lena. That is not her real name, but it fits the version of her I knew. Lena was smart, funny, and very good at making ordinary things feel like stories. A bad dining hall meal became a tragedy. A rainy walk across campus became cinematic. A boring party became lore by morning if she told it right. We started dating junior year. For a while, being with her felt like getting chosen in the middle of a crowded room. She was the person everyone noticed, and somehow she kept looking for me. I was quieter, more practical, the guy people asked to hold keys or check directions. She made me feel less invisible. I made her feel steady. At least that was what we told each other. By the time we graduated, the relationship was tired, not ruined, not dramatic, just tired. We had started wanting different lives. She wanted to move fast, network, go out, say yes to everything. I had a job at a logistics company that started at 7:30 in the morning, student loans coming due, and a bank account that made every spontaneous plan feel like a math problem. We fought about little things because the big thing was harder to name. She said I was becoming boring. I said she was allergic to stability. Neither of us was completely wrong. We broke up in late March. It was not a screaming breakup. No cheating. No thrown phones, no dramatic public scene. We sat in my car outside her apartment after dinner, both of us exhausted from pretending one more conversation would fix it. She cried. I cried too, though I tried not to make it obvious. We agreed we cared about each other. We agreed we did not want the friend group to pick sides. We agreed to be mature. That word did a lot of unpaid labor. Mature. It meant smiling when your ex walked into the same room. It meant not asking friends whether she had mentioned you. It meant acting like you were fine with group plans because anything else would make you the problem. At first, everyone was careful, too careful. Our group chat, which had once been a garbage fire of memes, voice notes, dinner plans, and people arguing about which fast food fries were best, got quieter. When someone made plans, they worded things like corporate invitations. No pressure to anyone, but a few of us might grab drinks Friday. Totally okay if people are busy. Just trying to keep things chill. Chill is another word that does too much work. The beach trip had been planned before the breakup. It was supposed to be our first real post-college group trip. Not a spring break disaster where 7 people slept on one floor and someone cried in a gas station bathroom. An actual adult trip. A beach house for 4 nights in early summer split between 10 people driving distance from the city. The organizer was a guy named Colin. Again, not his real name. Colin was the kind of person every friend group accidentally appoints as logistics manager because he loves spreadsheets and everyone else loves not making decisions. In college, he booked party buses, collected money for birthday dinners, made shared itineraries, and reminded people to bring chargers. He was not the funniest or most exciting person in the group, but he was useful. People confuse useful with trustworthy all the time. Back in February, Colin found the beach house and sent a link to the chat. It looked great. 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a pool, a grill, walking distance to the beach if you were generous with your definition of walking distance. The listing photos were a little too bright, but that is how vacation rentals are. Every couch looks clean when photographed by a person standing in the corner with a wide-angle lens. Colin said the house was expensive but worth it. He said we needed to move fast because summer weekends were disappearing. He said the host required a deposit that night. That part mattered later. At the time, no one questioned it. Colin sent the breakdown. Everyone owed $360 up front. That would cover the deposit, taxes, cleaning fee, and buffer. The remaining amount might be smaller depending on final numbers. I remember staring at my banking app for a full minute before sending the money. $360 was not casual for me. It was groceries. It was a chunk of my loan payment. It was the difference between replacing my tires now or convincing myself the tread was fine because the car still stopped when asked nicely. But I sent it, because I wanted to go, because I wanted to prove I was still part of the group. Because Lena was excited, and at that point we were still together, and I imagined us driving down with snacks and playlists and maybe remembering why things had once felt easy. Colin Hart reacted to my payment. Payment received, he wrote. You are locked in, locked in. I should have asked for the booking confirmation then. I did not. None of us did. That is how friend groups work when everyone is young and still confusing closeness with accountability. You send money because you assume the person collecting it is not lying. You do not ask for receipts because receipts feel rude. You trust the vibe until the vibe invoices you twice. After the breakup, I wondered if the trip would be awkward. I asked Lena directly. We met for coffee 2 weeks after we ended things because she had left a hoodie at my place and I had left a portable charger at hers. The exchange felt like a hostage negotiation conducted by two people who used to know each other's coffee orders. I asked, are we still okay for the beach trip? She looked down at her cup. I think so, she said. If you do not want me there, just tell me. No, I do not want to make it weird. That was not exactly an answer, but I accepted it because I wanted to. I told her I did not want people choosing sides. She said, same. Then we hugged in the parking lot, and for one stupid second, I thought maybe we were going to be the rare breakup that did not ruin anything. The slow freeze started after that. Nothing obvious at first. The group chat got quieter, but I told myself everyone was busy. People responded to me, but sometimes hours later. Inside, jokes started appearing in Instagram comments that I did not understand. Someone would mention the spreadsheet or room assignments in passing, and when I asked, the conversation would slide away. One Friday, I saw a story from Maya, one of the girls in the group, showing 5 of them at a bar. No big deal. People can hang out without inviting everyone. Then the next weekend, another small hangout. Then a game night. Then brunch. At first, I did the mature thing and told myself not to be needy. No one owes you every invitation. People are allowed to make plans. You are not in college anymore, but there is a difference between not being invited to everything and realizing you have become optional without anyone saying it. The beach trip planning became the clearest sign. Colin had originally said he would send a full update in May. May came, nothing in the main chat. I asked, do we have final numbers for the beach house yet? No one answered for 4 hours. Then Colin replied, still working on it. We'll update soon. 5 minutes later, Lena posted a story of her laptop screen with a packing list. It included beach house theme night and asked group about groceries. Asked group. Apparently there was a group, just not the one I was in. I stared at that story until my phone dimmed. Then I texted my old roommate Marcus, who was also part of the friend group. Is there another chat for the trip? Marcus did not answer for 20 minutes. Then he wrote, I thought Colin added you. That was how I found out. There was another group chat. It had been created just for logistics, according to Marcus after the breakup. He said it was not meant to exclude me, but he also admitted I was not in it. I asked who was. He listed everyone going, everyone except me. I felt embarrassed before I felt angry. That is the thing people do not talk about. Being excluded makes you feel childish even when you have a valid reason to be hurt. You feel like you are in middle school again, asking if there was a sleepover you missed. I texted Colin privately. Hey, Marcus mentioned there is a separate trip chat. Can you add me? Colin replied 15 minutes later. Can we talk? My stomach dropped. He called me instead of texting, which should have told me he did not want a record. I let it go to voicemail, then texted, I am at work. Text is better. That instinct saved me later. Colin sent a long message. He said he had been meaning to talk to me. He said after checking in with people, the general feeling was that it might be healthier if I sat this trip out. He said no one hated me and this was not about taking sides, but the breakup was still fresh and Lena deserved to enjoy the trip without tension. I read the message 3 times. Then I wrote, so I am uninvited. He replied, I would not phrase it like that. I stared at my phone. How else do you phrase being told not to come to something you paid for? I asked about my money. That was when Colin's tone changed. He said the house was non-refundable. He said the group had already budgeted around the original number. He said everyone would be in a tough spot if I pulled my contribution now. He said he hoped I could be cool about it because these situations are awkward for everyone. For everyone. I was being asked to pay $360 to not attend a trip so my ex could feel comfortable, and somehow this was equally awkward for everyone. I asked if someone else was taking my spot. He said no. That was line number 1 that I could prove later. I asked for the booking receipt. He did not answer for 2 hours. Then he sent a cropped screenshot showing only the total price, not the deposit, not the fees, not the host, not the guest count. I asked for the full receipt. He replied, dude, I am not trying to scam you. That was when my anger finally caught up to my humiliation, because I had not used the word scam. He had. I did not respond right away. Instead, I opened my bank app and screenshotted the $360 payment from February. I scrolled back through the group chat and found Colin's original message saying payment locked us in. I saved the cropped receipt. I saved the message where he said I should sit out. I saved the line about no one replacing me. At the time, I did not know what I was building. I just knew I did not like how fast the story was becoming slippery. For the next week, I heard nothing. The main group chat was basically dead. The separate trip chat continued without me. I knew because people kept slipping. Maya posted a story asking whether we should do matching shirts as a joke. Marcus accidentally mentioned grocery assignments, then deleted the message. Lena liked a post about protecting your peace after a breakup, which I pretended not to see because sometimes self-respect is just not reacting to bait. I considered letting it go. I really did. $360 hurt, but I could survive it. Fighting would make everything uglier. Maybe I should accept that I lost the breakup socially and move on. Maybe asking for the money back would make me look bitter. Maybe everyone would say I was proving why they uninvited me. That is how people keep your money sometimes. They count on you being too embarrassed to fight. The trip happened 3 weeks later. I knew the dates because I had requested time off months earlier. I had not canceled it. I told my manager I would use the days to rest, which sounded mature and pathetic at the same time. The first day, I muted everyone's stories. Then I unmuted them at 10 p.m. because apparently I like emotional damage with my takeout. That was when I saw the house. It looked exactly like the listing. White siding, blue chairs on the deck, string lights around the pool. Everyone was laughing. Someone filmed a cooler full of drinks. Someone filmed Lena dancing in the kitchen. Someone filmed Colin dramatically opening a bag of chips like he had personally invented snacks. Then I saw him. A guy I did not recognize, standing near the sliding door in a tank top, holding a red cup. At first, I thought he was a neighbor or someone's friend from nearby. Then a later story showed him carrying a duffel bag down a hallway, into the room I had been assigned before everything changed. I watched it 3 times, not because I wanted to torture myself, because I wanted to be sure. The story tagged him. His name was Drew. I clicked his profile. Public. Of course it was public. He had a gym selfie, a dog, and a bio that said sales, sunsets, and bad decisions. I almost closed the app. Then I noticed he had posted his own story from the beach house. Caption, worth every penny, worth every penny. My body went still. I messaged him before I could talk myself out of it. Me, hey, random question. Are you at the beach house with Colin's group? He replied surprisingly fast. Drew, yeah, lol, do I know you, me? I was originally supposed to go but got removed from the trip. Did you take over my spot? There was a pause. Drew, I do not know anything about that. Colin invited me like 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. After Colin told me no one was replacing me, I asked, trying to keep my message calm, did you pay for the room? Drew replied, yeah, $375. Why? I sat up so fast I knocked my takeout container over. He had paid too. Not only had Colin kept my $360, he had charged Drew $375 for the same spot. I asked if Drew had received any receipt. He said no, just Venmo'd Colin because everyone else did. Then he wrote, wait, did you pay too? I sent a screenshot of my February payment with my account info cropped out. Drew replied, that is weird as hell. It was the first honest thing anyone connected to the trip had said in weeks. To his credit, Drew did not get defensive. He did not accuse me of causing drama. He said he did not know and had only been invited because Lena said it would be less awkward if there was another guy there. Another guy there. That line stung in a way I hated. Not because I wanted to be there with Lena, because apparently I had been replaced as a social category. Ex-boyfriend out. New neutral guy in, still the money mattered more. Drew sent me screenshots of his payment to Colin, $375 marked beach house. He also sent the date, 2 weeks after Colin told me I was not being replaced. Now I had proof of double payment, but something still bothered me. Why $375? If my share was $360, why was Drew's $375? Why had Colin collected extra from him? Why had the cropped receipt looked strange? I went back to the rental listing link from February. It was still in the chat. The house was booked for those dates, obviously, but the listing still showed the host's name. There was a contact button, but since I was not the booking guest, I did not expect much. I messaged anyway. I kept it simple. I said I was part of a group that had contributed to a booking at their property, that I had been removed from the trip but charged anyway, and that I was trying to verify the total cost because there appeared to be duplicate payments collected. I did not ask for private booking details. I asked if they could confirm whether a guest named Colin had booked and whether the total amount we were shown matched what was charged. I expected no reply. The host answered the next morning. Her name was Paula. She was polite but careful. She said she could not share all details because I was not the booking account holder, but if I provided the total we were given, she could confirm whether it matched. I sent the cropped screenshot from Colin. Paula replied, "That is not the total charged by our platform." My heart started pounding. She said the actual booking total was lower, significantly lower. The deposit required at booking had also been lower than what Colin claimed in February. There was a cleaning fee, but it was not the number he had listed. There was no extra guest buffer required by the host. Then Paula added one sentence that made everything explode. For clarity, our maximum occupancy for this reservation is 10 guests. 10 guests. Colin had collected from 11, me included. Maybe 12, depending on how Drew fit into the final count. I thanked Paula and asked if she would be willing to put the confirmation in writing without sharing private information. She sent a short message confirming that the total amount shown in my screenshot did not match the host's charged total and that no additional guest buffer had been charged by the property. That was enough. Now I had my payment, Drew's payment, Colin's message saying I should sit out, Colin's message saying no one replaced me, the cropped receipt, the host confirming the numbers were wrong, the original locked-in group message. I made a folder. Then I made a clean breakdown and a note on my laptop because I knew if I wrote from pure emotion, people would focus on my tone instead of the facts. I listed dates. February 18, Colin requests $360 from each person, says deposit required that night. February 18, I pay $360. March 29, Lena and I break up. May 11, I ask to be added to trip chat. May 11, Colin says it would be healthier if I sit out. May 11, Colin says no one is replacing me and refund is not possible. May 26, Drew pays Colin $375 for beach house spot. June 9, Drew attends trip and confirms payment. June 10, host confirms total shown by Colin does not match actual booking total and no extra guest buffer was charged. Then I attached screenshots. I sat with the message for an hour. My thumb hovered over send. Because once I dropped it, whatever remained of the friend group would not survive. Part of me still wanted it to survive. That was the embarrassing part. Even after being excluded, lied to, and charged for a trip I could not attend, some small part of me still wanted someone to say, "This got out of hand. We are sorry. Come back." But you cannot return to a group that made peace with your absence before telling you. So I sent it, not to the secret trip chat. I was not in that one. The original group chat, the one they forgot still existed. I wrote, "Since I was told I could not attend the beach trip but could not be refunded because no one replaced me, I asked for the numbers. Drew confirmed he paid for the spot I was told was not being replaced. The host also confirmed the total Colin showed us does not match the actual booking total. Here is the full timeline and screenshots. I want my $360 back by Friday." Then I sent the breakdown. For 3 minutes, nothing happened. Then Marcus wrote, "What the hell?" Maya wrote, "Wait, Drew paid too?" Someone else wrote, "Colin." Lena did not respond. Colin responded 9 minutes later with a paragraph so long it needed chapters. He said I was being vindictive. He said I was twisting things because I was hurt about the breakup. He said the trip had been stressful to organize. He said some people paid different amounts because of different room arrangements. He said the buffer was for groceries, supplies, and unexpected costs. He said contacting the host behind his back was invasive. I replied, "Then send the full receipt and expense breakdown." He did not. Instead, he said he was not going to engage with bad faith accusations. Drew, who was apparently sitting in the beach house watching this happen live, entered the chat because Maya added him. He wrote, "I paid $375 because Colin said the spot opened up and that was my share." I was not told someone else had already paid. That was the moment the group chat fully detonated. People started asking what they had paid for. Maya said she paid $390 because Colin told her she had the bigger room. Marcus said he paid $360 and was sleeping on a pull-out couch. Someone named Eric said he had paid an extra $80 for grocery prepay. But everyone had also been asked to Venmo for groceries that morning. The math was not mathing. Colin kept trying to slow the conversation down. "Let's not do this in the chat. I can explain later. You guys are making assumptions. This is exactly why I did not want drama." But the problem with receipts is that once people realize the numbers are real, drama stops working as a shield. Maya asked for the booking confirmation. Marcus asked for the grocery receipts. Drew asked if he was sleeping in a room someone else paid for. Lena finally wrote, "Colin, please just send the receipt." That message mattered more than I wanted it to. Not because I needed Lena to defend me, but because for weeks I had imagined everyone calmly agreeing I should be removed. Seeing her question him made me realize the story had probably been managed on her side too. Later, I found out Colin had told Lena I felt uncomfortable attending and was probably going to cancel anyway. He told me everyone thought I should stay home. He told them I was being difficult about paying. He told Drew a spot had opened naturally. He told everyone different pieces, and each piece made him look reasonable. That is the thing about manipulative organizers. They do not need one big lie. They just need every person to have a slightly different version of the truth. The trip fell apart within hours, not physically. They were still at the beach house. They still had rooms and food and sunburns. But the vibe was dead, according to Marcus, who sent me updates I did not ask for but absolutely read. People were arguing in the kitchen. Colin kept saying he would reconcile everything after the trip. Maya wanted to leave early. Drew felt weird because he had walked into a financial crime scene wearing swim trunks. Lena cried on the deck because she realized the breakup had been used as an excuse to exclude me and overcharge people. I wish I could say I felt triumphant. I mostly felt tired. There is a specific exhaustion that comes from finding out you were right to be suspicious. It feels validating for about 5 seconds, then sad for much longer. By Friday, Colin sent me $360, no apology, just a Venmo payment with the caption, refund, lowercase. Like even capitalizing it would have been too much accountability. I accepted it immediately, transferred it to my bank, and screenshotted the confirmation because Colin had taught me well. Over the next week, the rest of the group fallout came in pieces. Maya got part of her money back after threatening a payment dispute. Marcus discovered he had paid the same amount as people with private rooms while sleeping in the living room. Drew asked Colin for his money back too, arguing that he had been invited under false pretenses, but I do not know if he got it. Eric kept asking about the grocery fund until Colin finally sent a blurry receipt that did not explain anything. Colin posted a Notes app apology 3 days later. Of course he did. It said he was sorry for miscommunications around the trip finances and that he had been under a lot of pressure trying to make everyone happy after a difficult interpersonal situation. A difficult interpersonal situation. That was me, or rather my breakup. The apology never said he lied. It never said he double-charged anyone. It never said he used my exclusion as a way to keep extra money. It said things got confusing. Things did not get confusing. He confused them on purpose. I did not respond. Lena texted me 2 days after they got back. I stared at her name for a long time before opening it. She said she was sorry. She said she did not know I had been told there was no replacement. She said Colin told her I was uncomfortable coming and that refunding me was complicated because I had waited too long to decide. That made me laugh once, bitterly. I had not decided anything. I had been removed. She said she should have checked with me directly. That part was true. I wrote back, yes, you should have. Then I added, I hope you understand that I cannot stay in a group where people were comfortable excluding me and keeping my money. She replied that she understood. Then she said she missed when things were simpler. I almost typed, they were not simpler. We were just easier to lie to. But I did not. Some truths do not need to be sent. Over the next few months, the group dissolved in the way friend groups dissolve when nobody wants to officially call time of death. The main chat went quiet. People made smaller chats. Birthdays became individual texts instead of group plans. I stayed friends with Marcus, but even that changed. Not because he had done the worst thing, but because he had known about the second chat and waited for me to ask. He apologized, and I believed he meant it. But an apology does not always rebuild the exact kind of trust that broke. Maya messaged me once to say she was sorry for assuming I was being dramatic. I appreciated that. Still, we did not become close again. That is one of the unfair parts of situations like this. The person who exposes the problem can still lose the room. Colin lost people's trust, sure, but I lost the illusion that the group would protect me. And once you lose that, you cannot unsee it. For a while, I felt embarrassed about the whole thing. Embarrassed that I had paid so quickly. Embarrassed that I cared so much about people who had excluded me. Embarrassed that I watched their stories from my apartment like some rejected side character in my own life. But eventually, the embarrassment faded into clarity. I had not been pathetic for wanting my friends. I had not been bitter for wanting my money back. I had not been dramatic for asking why someone else was sleeping in a room I paid for. The situation was embarrassing because they behaved badly, not because I noticed. There is a lesson people love to throw at you in your 20s. Not everyone is meant to stay in your life. It is true, but it is also vague enough to fit on a throw pillow, which makes it annoying. The harder lesson is this. Sometimes people leave your life without physically leaving it first. They keep your number, they like your posts, they say we should catch up soon. They keep you in the group chat. But emotionally, they have already moved you to a category where your feelings are inconvenient and your absence is easier than your inclusion. That was what happened to me. The trip did not end the friendship. It revealed that parts of it had already ended. Colin just added fraud. I did take one thing from the experience that I am grateful for in a strange way. I learned to ask for numbers. Now, if someone is collecting money for a trip, dinner, rental, gift, anything, I ask for the receipt. Not aggressively, not suspiciously, just normally. Can you send the breakdown? Healthy people do not explode when you ask where your money is going. That sentence has saved me more than once. I also learned that non-refundable does not mean non-accountable. If a group uninvites you from something you paid for, they owe you a refund or the right to use what you bought. They do not get to keep your money because your presence became socially inconvenient. That should be obvious. But a lot of people rely on politeness to make obvious things negotiable. The last time I saw Colin was at a mutual friend's birthday almost a year later. He came up to me near the bar and acted like enough time had passed for everything to become funny. "Man," he said, "that beach trip was insane, huh?" I looked at him, not angry, just done. "You stole from your friends," I said. His smile dropped. "That is not what happened." "Then send the receipt." He walked away. I still think that might be the most satisfying sentence I have ever said. Not because it fixed anything, because it reminded me how simple the truth had always been. If you have the receipt, send it. If you replace someone, say that. If you overcharged people, admit it. If you uninvite someone from a trip they paid for, give them their money back. Everything else is fog. I never went on that beach trip. I never got the friend group back the way it was. I never got a real apology from But I got my $360. I got the truth. And I got out of a group that was willing to call exclusion maturity as long as I kept paying for it. Sometimes growing up is not moving to a new city or starting a real job or learning how to do your taxes. Sometimes growing up is sitting on your apartment floor, watching people have fun without you, and realizing you are not sad because you missed the trip. You are sad because you finally saw the price of belonging to people who would sell your spot and still send you the bill. And once you see that, the refund is not just money. It is the cost of leaving with your self-respect intact.